All right, now we're going to start taking a look at some clips, game footage. Before we get into this, we also have what we call a run it tag, and it's just a hand signal that we send in to the quarterback and to the skill guys at the end of the play call that tells them we're taking away the pass option and we are handing the ball off or only using the run option. So it'll either be handed off to the tailback or read the defensive end and pull it. There will be no quick screen or bubble screen. And the reason we do that is because once you get into a flow of a game, eventually as coaches, we know how they're going to line up as a defense, and we know whether, down and distance, like here it's second and short. So rather than throwing the quick screen out there, we're just going to hand this ball off, get our first down, and then we'll play from there. What this also does is it allows us to play faster because the quarterback doesn't have to read the defense pre-snap before we start to run our Counter Trey RPO. Okay, so if we take away that pass option and he knows he's just focusing on that defensive end, he can get up to the line. As soon as everybody's set, he can set go, as opposed to reading the coverage like you would on a normal RPO. It helps us to be able to play faster. It lets the skill players, instead of taking their quick screen steps on both sides, they can go block those corners and those safeties, and your 5-10 yard gains then turn into touchdowns because you got extra guys blocking downfield. Okay, and this isn't something we would do, This isn't something we do all the time. Most of the time we just leave the RPO on because throughout a football game, as much as we run this Counter Trey RPO and our buck sweep RPO, we see a lot of made up gimmick adjustments to defenses. Okay, so teams will start out in a 4-4, 4-2-5, whatever you want to call it. They'll start out in a 3-4, they'll start out in a 3 stack, they'll start out in a 50 front sometimes. And then they always end up moving guys out of the box and putting extra guys out over top of our wide receivers because we score so often on the quick screens early in games. And I can show you some clips of that at the end too, just to kind of show you how the flow works. But we see a lot of gimmick defenses because of how bad we gash teams with the quick screen and then, run them right at them with the Counter Trey. So again, this is just, it's who you're playing. It's your day-to-day, game-to-game thing. We do make adjustments at halftime sometimes. Not very often. The adjustments we make at halftime are we going to run a bubble or are we going to run the quick screen? You know what I mean? It's not any massive changes to anything. And again, the more your kids do this on a day-to-day basis, the easier it gets, the faster you can play. I mean, like I said, we try to run a play every 13 seconds, and I've never seen a high school team play faster than we do. We get set and we go. All right, so let's dive into this one here. Okay, so on this one, obviously we have our run it tag on. You can see our receivers fire off the ball, and they know they're just blocking. The guy up top obviously didn't get the call, so that happens sometimes too, but it's not the end of the world. Offensive line does a good job creasing the defense. And there's a good look at a center blocking back on a 3 technique. He barely gets any piece of him at all, and you can still, as long as he gets a piece of him, he's effective because we're already by him. So you can see it looks like he's shooting free, but really the center chips him, and that's enough for us to pop loose. Okay, on this one, we're back to another spread look. Same thing, we got a run it tag on. On the last one you saw we had a Q tag. The quarterback kept the ball. On this one it's the running back. So same play, completely different look to the defense though. And we pop loose, and that happens a lot. This is one of those plays that, goes for 2 or 3 yards or a touchdown, and there's not a whole lot of in-betweens. I mean, that's pretty much running straight ahead into the end zone. Okay, now on this one, we don't have our run it tag on. So you can see our wide receivers out here. They're waiting for the football. And the reason our quarterback handed the ball off here was just because it was into the boundary. This corner's, not super deep, right? He's got a guy behind him here. And we like all this over here to win. Okay, so that's the reason behind doing what we did here. That's why he handed the ball off, even though, the quick screen looks like it's there. But our quarterback knows that, when it comes down to it at the end of the day, handing the ball off is always better than putting the ball in the air. Okay, so if we can hand the ball off, we do, and he knows that, and does a really good job with making those reads. Okay, watch the left tackle's footwork here. He does a great job of getting up through there and finishing downfield, which is why we get the result that we get. It's a great job finishing, driving him all the way into the end zone. You know, here's something else that you'll see as an adjustment. And if you watch our left guard here and the right defensive end, you'll notice that the defensive end cuts our pulling guard that's trying to kick him out. You know, some coaches will do that. We don't do that. I don't think that's, you know, something that kids need to be taught, is to dive at other kids' ankles. To me, that's not good football. But, you know, you got to coach around these things and know that it's going to happen. You just got to let your guard know, keep his hat on the inside, stay low, and protect yourself. And again, he doesn't have to blow that guy up. He's really just got to screen him and keep him in his place, keep him right where he's at, and we win. And there you can see he gets cut. Love the effort by the left tackle, driving the kid into the end zone. It's great. Okay, here we have trips with the tight end, where you're going to see that arc block. This kid out here, number 24, is actually the outside linebacker, which is why you see our tight end arc to him. Okay, this is their corner back here, so his job is to always block the outside linebacker, and he does a great job. There's our tackle downfield. It's a great look at it. Same play, same team. Notice how tight the tackle is to the guard. He's got his hand on his back the whole way, right? It's another good arc block by our tight end, which is what sparks that touchdown. Let's take one more look at it here. You'll see we get this arc block. We kick out, and this guy's staying real tight to the guard the whole way up there until he gets up and through. Okay, same thing, same look, just with a Q tag, right? So if we give the Q tag, okay, when we give the Q tag, he still has the option to throw this RPO over here. Okay, so if he likes it, he can throw it. If he doesn't, you know, he can decide to run the football. In this case, I would have been fine either way. All right, on this one we had the Q tag on. The reason he did not throw the quick screen over here is because of how low the corner is. So, you know, that's perfectly fine. That's exactly what he should have done. You see we got our guard coming, our tackle up and through, and there's our tight end arc blocking. On this one we have our naked tag on, which means we are banking on the fact that this end is going to close, right? So what that means is we would call Counter Trey to the left with a naked tag, which tells the running back he's running out there naked to the right. Everybody's blocking Counter Trey to the left. And we are handing this ball off to the running back, who is trying to get to the inside wide receiver as fast as he can before he makes a decision on where he's going with the football. And then our receivers are going to block most dangerous. And let's go ahead and watch how this one works out. So you see that, and again, this is a response play. So this is, we know their defensive end's getting nosy in there. So you see he steps inside, and we already got him beat. It only takes one step inside, and he's done. And then our running back runs through the safety there on his way to a touchdown. Good effort. All right, on this one, this is a little wrinkle that we had in for this week. So this is this is play number 14. We had already scored in this game by throwing the quick screen out here, and we had on what we call a wide tag. So that just tells our inside receiver he's going to line up where the outside receiver normally lines up. So if you notice, our inside wide receiver is lined up on the hash when normally that would be the outside wide receiver. Okay, so why did we do that? We knew we could gash him with our counter tray, so we spread this linebacker out because once we scored on the quick screen on the first play of the game, we went, I think it was like 85 yards for a touchdown, and I can show you that clip later on. They widened this guy out, they jamming with this guy, they bring the corner all the way over here, and we got a safety over top. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4 guys, not only over top of the wide receivers, but if you look at their eyes and where they're looking, they're all looking. I mean, look at the safety. Not even concerned with what's going on in front of him inside the box. Okay? This guy's got his head started to turn. This guy's staring. This guy has his, he's got his cover 2 alignment, but in all reality, he's outside of both of these wide receivers, so he's looking at them. And again, we didn't have our run it tag on. We left the RPO on, so the quarterback had a decision here, but there was no decision because it's 4/3, and the box is so wide open because of how wide that outside linebacker is. We got one backer in the box, and we're just going to deuce to him. There's nobody left to tackle the running back. So that's twice we scored on that concept already in the first quarter in the same game. Okay, on this one, we have Trey with a tight end. So we have 2 tight ends and 2 wide receivers. Okay, so this is our Trey look. It's a tight end with 2 wide receivers outside of him. Notice we're back to our normal alignment. The receivers are lined up on the opposite hash because the ball is on the left hash. So our widest receiver is out here lined up on this hash. So that makes that throw only 17 yards if we choose to do so. In this season, we had a veteran group of wide receivers. So when we had our run it tag on here, so you'll notice this outside wide receiver runs a streak, and he does that instead of blocking this guy because he can see that he is clearly playing man-to-man. He's head up straight over top of him, staring at him. They're in man right here, so he runs him off, which is just as good as a block because he chases him down. Again, do what your kids can handle. Would it have been okay if you'd have just blocked him? Absolutely. But, running them off does the same effect when they're in man, okay? And that's just more so the age level and skill level of your wide receivers and, what you decide that they can retain in a season. If this is a freshman, sophomore wide receiver at the varsity level on Friday night like this, then, you may not want to do that. But this is an older wide receiver, a veteran, and, we put some, as they get older, we put more responsibility on them. All right, on this one, this is a playoff game. The defense is running a 3-4. Okay, so if you notice, I want you to watch this guy right here. Okay, he goes. We chose to go with bubble instead of quick screen this week because of this right here. So watching this, and again, this is a playoff game. So against an odd front, a 3-4. Watch what that outside linebacker's responsibility is. He goes flying out there trying to take away the bubble, which leaves us with an easy touchdown. You get a pancake out of the kicking out guard. 66 pancakes at defensive end. Good job. Okay, here we got trips with the tight end. This team decided, this is a 4-3 team by design, but if you notice, they're in some goofy 5-man front with 2 stand-up defensive ends. This is not what they normally do. So this was something we had to adjust to throughout the game, and it did not work in their favor. Again, this system, this concept really frustrates the defensive coordinator, really frustrates the defense, because your kids go back to the sideline and they're arguing with their coach, like, Coach, I'm doing exactly what you're telling me to do, and they're still scoring touchdowns. And again, it's not just because we have better players. That is not the case at all. Against like I said, some of these are playoff games. The difference is it's the concept, and our kids have been running the same system, since they were in 3rd, 4th grade. Literally, they start running this stuff in 3rd and 4th grade, and it makes a difference because on Friday night they've been doing it so long that it's just like second nature to them. So the execution is much better. Here's a spread look. It looks like we got a run it tag on based off the receivers are already firing off the ball. Pancake by the pulling tackle, and you get it. It's a great concept. Okay, and then here's a few clips of the pros doing it. It's the Buffalo Bills, Josh Allen. Touchdowns in the NFL don't come any easier than that, especially by a quarterback. Same concept, just counter tray. Easy 6. If you guys got any questions, feel free to shoot me an email. It's Jeff@iCoach.Football. Love to see you inside our membership. You can get our whole system and everything that we do. If you want to see some of the other stuff that we do, you can check out our blog on our website. It's iCoach.Football. So it's not .com, it's .football. So iCoach.Football. You can find a bunch of free web clinics there and register for the ones that we do in the future. Or you can hop in our membership with everybody else and get the full system. So again, hope to see you guys inside. If you got any questions, shoot me an email. Jeff@iCoach.Football. And like we always say, play fast, play smart, play together.